Good morning and welcome to this edition of the Livingston Parish News Morning Show. My name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you joining us this morning. If you ever miss one of these shows, we do post them at www.livingstonparishnews.com/podcast. We do have audio and video versions of the show for you to consume at a later date if you so choose, or if you just happen to miss them, we do post them so you can listen to them later in the day at your leisure. Of course, the traffic and weather may not be, well, the weather might, but the traffic may not be very helpful to you later in the day. The news is on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. We'd appreciate you giving us a check there. Like, share, comment. Please note that YouTube does ask you to subscribe. It doesn't cost any money. You just hit the subscribe button. It's like liking a Facebook page. We're also online, www.livingstonparishnews.com. We have an app where we push out breaking news. If you don't want to pay the $5 a month for online, please, please just check out the app for the breaking news. Our breaking news is free, so we have traffic updates, arrests, that sort of thing. Rolling into it this morning, school is back in session, so you're looking at some heavy delays on North 16 around Live Oak High School, heavy delays on Hatchell Lane as well as 16 in and around the Denham Springs High School, Denham Springs Junior High area. Traffic is backed up on I-12 westbound past Juban Road at the moment. Minor delays at Juban and 190, not as bad as they usually are. Minor delays at 4-H Club Road, River Road, and 190, and minor delays at 64 going into Central. Facing intermittent delays on I-12 heading into Baton Rouge. Not too bad after the 10-12 split. It's currently 70 degrees. Getting fall in the morning. Heavy humidity, though. But it will get hot. About 91 degrees is your high today. Could get upwards of 95. So I'm going to talk about it again. I know that y'all might already be tired of hearing of it, but we're going to keep bringing it up until it's over, and that would be early voting. Early voting starts this Saturday, September 28th. It runs through the next Saturday, October 5th. The reason I said September again is because September 29th, Sunday, it will not be open. So remember, you cannot early vote on Sunday. Otherwise, you can vote Saturday to Saturday. They're open from 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m., either at the Registrar of Voters office in Livingston or at the Denham Springs Walker Branch Library here right in between Denham Springs and Walker. Our Thursday edition is going to try to wrap it all up for you. We try to get everything done before early voting this year. Talked about the amendments a few weeks ago. We have ballots. A lot of people are going to be voting on digital ballots this year, so we have what it's going to look like, but we can't exactly print those big sheets anymore. That's not how it's going to work. So we're trying to work through how exactly we're going to present it, and we will let you guys know as we get closer to that date. But remember, they are pushing, they being parish officials, including the clerk of court, Jason Harris, and Registrar of Voters, Jared Andrews, are pushing early voting because on October 12th, which is Election Day, you have an LSU game versus Florida on CBS at 2:30. It is the Saturday of Fair Week, and it is also Southeastern's homecoming. So if any of that might affect you, why not vote early so you don't have to worry about it on that Saturday? Something to consider moving forward. North River Road in Denham Springs is going to be closed beginning Friday morning all the way through Sunday evening. The large Harvest Manor that is there, it's a retirement home that's being built / nursing home, is trying to connect into the sewer. And in abundance of caution and to give them room to work, they are requesting that local traffic only go through that area at that time. So please remember to find alternate routes and other ways around. Jacob Tom, who was accused of convincing an older lady with dementia that she owed him money, turned himself in late last week to the East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office. He was then transferred to Denham Springs. Yesterday, he was transferred to Livingston Parish Detention Center and will be awaiting trial here in Livingston Parish. The guy claimed that his lawyer would explain everything. We'll see what happens. The story there is that he went to an unnamed victim's house. They haven't released the name of the victim. Convinced her, since she had dementia and lived with no one else, that she owed him money for work done on her home. He then took her to Regions Bank in Denham Springs. Luckily for the lady, and luckily for the police as well, one of the elderly lady's relatives was at the bank at the time, spotted her, called the guy out, and they were able to stop the situation from happening. He left. He pushed her out of the car and left. Thankfully, bank imagery was able to give us a pretty good idea of his face. They then identified him a few days later, and then he turned himself in a few days after that. So we'll see what happens going forward. Again, his name was Jacob Tom. Last night, there was a candidate forum for those in the parish council that have opponents. It was held at Holy Ground Coffee and Walker. It was put on by the Livingston Parish Chamber of Commerce. They have a video up. We're also processing our own video just in case you want to go watch it. It was about 2 hours long. Mr. Kevin Fambro is going to be coming up with the write-up for this Thursday's paper, as well as the online edition coming out today, so you can check that out. Several parish councilmen do not have an opponent, so it was District 2. It has 2 in it. That would be Mr. Gary Frog Talbert and Mr. Kyle Hoot Parker. District 3 has Mr. Scooter Keene, Ms. Shannon Sloan, and Mr. Brian Ross. District 1 has Mr. Rufus Craig, as well as Mr. Jeff Ard. District 8, wherein Tableau Bell has backed out, has Mr. Barry Hardy and Mr. Randy DeLatte. And then District 6 seems to be where a lot of the fireworks are. Mr. Jeff Averett, who was the incumbent, is not running again, much like Mr. Tableau Bell. And so you have 4 folks there. You have Gerald McMorris, Steve McDaniel, Derek Babcock, and Muriel Laws. So you can hear all about what they have to say as they all spoke last night. We will have that video up sometime today or tomorrow. Again, the chamber, Livingston Parish Chamber of Commerce, went live with that, so you can check it out there as well. Yesterday, Espresso Go had a ribbon cutting of sorts here in Livingston Parish. I throw up the air quotes because they are a traveling coffee shop. They're in a food truck. They will come to your office, deliver coffee, and kind of share in some fellowship, say hello, and then drive off. It's kind of it's a fascinating premise. But they had a ribbon cutting yesterday in Walker, and they've already spent some time in Livingston Parish. So if you're ever looking for them, check out their Facebook page. You can always request the truck, come by your office, and drop off some coffee. The Livingston Parish School Board did approve expanding their, I guess, influence on the literacy. Well, it's Southeastern at Livingston. It's not necessarily the Literacy and Technology Center anymore, but they're looking for more parking spots and better signage. They're talking about going into it with Southeastern, splitting costs to do this. The reason that Southeastern is asking the school board for a little buy-in is because many students from all 9 school districts converge on the Literacy and Technology Center, or Southeastern at Livingston, excuse me. I'm still getting used to saying that. For vocational type classes. They have nursing, pharmaceutical, automotive, that sort of thing. So should be interesting to see where they put those new parking spots, because if you pass by there in the morning right now, you'll notice that it does fill up early as a lot of those students get there for vocational training and that sort of thing. So keep an eye on that. They're looking at about the total cost there anywhere from $270,000 to $300,000 for the sign and all the parking spots. So we'll be seeing what comes of that in the coming weeks. how that pans out. Last night, Denham Springs had their second meeting of the month. What's interesting there is that they're still talking about the flood. Redid their contract with Fort Blatta, who is the master service agreement for flood recovery and engineering services through 2021. That would push it through 4.5 years after the flood. So that should tell you how long they anticipate a lot of this going on. They did discuss and approved making Wet City Hall on Government Street surplus. They had to do that in order to pave way for the demolition, which it will then be turned into a pavilion and kind of a community area. Interesting what happened last night, though. Republic Services, who has the contract for garbage inside the city, came and had a rate increase of 18 cents per household per the CPI. That's a Consumer Price Index. Now, what's interesting is that's baked into the contract, but they came anyway. And the folks from Republic were peppered with questions from the from the city council because, according to Jeff Wesley, about 95% of the calls they get are about some sort of issue with the trash pickup, with garbage pickup. There was a lot of discussion on how to improve it. The council did feel that it was productive. However, Ms. Amber Dugas voted no for the rate increase, although it was just a motion to pass it. It's more of a formality than anything. And it ended up going over 4-1. So you will see if you live inside Denham Springs, you will see an 18-cent increase on your garbage pickup per the Consumer Price Index. So just letting you know. Live Oak girls and boys went to Ocean Springs for a meet this past weekend. The girls placed second and the boys were fourth. It's interesting to see. So a lot of our teams are going into Mississippi every now and again for some sports contests. Springfield just went up to Boca Chica and played there. Southeastern had a great game with Lamar on Saturday. A lot of fun following Rob DeArmond on Twitter as he gave us updates from Southeastern as things panned out. It will be interesting to see where they build from there. As you know, they were ranked very low by the media after the Southland Conference Media Days. So they've opened up conference at 1-0, so it will be interesting to see if they can keep that momentum running going forward. Interesting, we were talking about automotive at the Southeastern at Livingston campus. Yesterday, Walker held a groundbreaking and ribbon cutting, not a groundbreaking, just a ribbon cutting for their body shop, Jerry Lane Body Shop at Walker High School. And, they're talking about it's a portable trade. It can help these kids get jobs straight out of high school. So that is open. They'll be discussing everything from how to fix body frames, paint, all sorts of body shop, automotive type skills. So it's a new addition to their vocational lineup. They're very excited about it over there at Walker. A very interesting story. Mr. David Gray covered that yesterday morning, and it's the title of the story is called "It's a Portable Trade," and you can read all about it www.livingstonparishnews.com/living. So that's all I got for y'all this morning. Let's take one more run around your traffic and your weather, and then I'm going to tell you to early vote again, and then I'll let you go if you haven't already gone. So traffic on I-12 westbound is now stacked up all the way to Sherwood Forest Boulevard. It's still backed up to Jubin Road as traffic clears out of the Hatchell and Highway 16 area and flows on to the interstate. Minor delays in Watson proper as folks are heading southbound after dropping their kids off at school. Minor delays on 64 heading into Central. 447 and Arnold Road, which had been a problem area for a long time, isn't so bad today. Not too terrible. Some minor delays in that area, minor delays at Jubin Road and 190, and starting to stack up after the 10-12 split. It's currently 70 degrees. Your high is going to be 91. Still warm in the afternoon and very cool in the evening. Will be interesting to see once those afternoons start cooling off about how long that's going to take. A reminder that early voting is at the Denham Springs Walker Branch Library as well as the Registrar of Voters office starting this Saturday, September 28th, running through October 5th. You do not vote on Sunday. They will not be open. They are open every other day, though, so 6 days from 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. They're asking folks to early vote because on October 12th, which is Election Day, you have an LSU versus Florida game at 2:30. You have the Parish Fair Week, and you also have homecoming at Southeastern. So please keep an eye out for early voting. I know that parish officials would appreciate you going out and getting your vote cast so on October 12th you can go enjoy those events and you don't have to worry about voting. My name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you joining us today for this show. If you ever miss one of these shows, remember you can check them out, www.livingstonparishnews.com/podcast. They are free. We have audio and video versions, whichever one you prefer, and we appreciate you going and watching. We are online, www.livingstonparishnews.com. It's $5 a month. We are twice a week in print on Thursdays and Sundays. You can check that out for $10 a month or $99 a year. A reminder that this Thursday's paper is going to be, I guess, I don't want to say the definitive edition. I'm sure somebody will find something wrong, but we're trying to get as much election information in as we can by this Thursday so that you can be informed for your early voting prospects. So please check out this Thursday's edition. We'll be talking about early voting as well as we've talked about the amendments. We'll be talking about the full ballot. We'll also be talking about the two millage renewals as well as a fee renewal. Two of the millages, one is for gravity drainage 1, the other one is for a fire district, and then a fee renewal for a fire district. Once again, McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you joining us this morning for the Livingston Parish News Morning Show. We hope you have a great day.